subscribing to the channel. I post 2 times a week, on Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I recommend using headphones if you would like to hear the gentle mic brushing. Now, before we get to tonight's case, please make sure that you are subscribed, and please leave it a like if you don't mind. Now, before we get into this case, I want to give a warning. This might be triggering to some people. It is one of the saddest cases that I have ever covered. It deals with the death of children, and it brushes on the topic of taking one's life. So, if you are a person who tends to be sensitive to these sorts of things, I recommend that you skip this video. So, having said that, I am going to get into it. This case takes place in the state of Massachusetts. So, a shout out to all my friends in Massachusetts. This is a very recent case, having taken place in January of 2023, and it is the case of Lindsay Clancy. She was 32 at the time of this case, and she was living in a town called Duxbury, Massachusetts, which is about 35 miles from Boston, and that is where the crime took place. So let's talk a little bit about her. I don't have full details on her childhood, but I can tell you that after finishing high school, she got a bachelor's degree in biology, and then she went on to get a nursing degree, and she became a labor and delivery nurse at Massachusetts General Hospital, or that is where she was ultimately working at the time of this case. Now, in 2015, she became engaged to Patrick Clancy. They had a wonderful, wonderful, loving and affectionate relationship, and they married in 2016. They bought a beautiful postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis because they are very different. Now, baby blues is something that a lot of women have right after giving birth. Sometimes it lasts for a few days, sometimes a week, but at most 2 weeks. And generally it goes away on its own. You know, you feel down after having given birth. All your hormones are all, out of whack, and it leaves you feeling a bit down. So that's baby blues, okay? Then there is postpartum depression. Now, according to the American Psychological Association, as many as 1 in 7 new mothers will experience this. So 1 in 7, that's actually a lot. It doesn't go away on its own. It can appear days or even months after delivering a baby. It can last for many weeks or months if left untreated. Symptoms include feelings of anger, anxiety, guilt, and hopelessness, and the loss of interest in pleasurable activities. So that is what they believed that Lindsay had. Now there is also something called postpartum psychosis, which occurs in only 1 or 2 births per 1,000. So it's rare. And it involves symptoms such as hallucinations, delusions, and paranoia that tend to present rapidly within 1 to 4 weeks after birth. This should be treated as an emergency, and treatments for both conditions involve a combination of medications and psychotherapy. So now let's get back to the case. Here is how Patrick described his family. Quote, "I took so much pride in being Lindsay's husband and a dad to Cora, Dawson, and Callan. I always reminded myself that each day with them was a new gift. Callan usually woke up first and would rest his head on my shoulder for a few minutes as he adjusted to morning. Dawson typically sang or spoke his thoughts out loud for a while before we'd go get him. Cora was a big girl and would simply walk downstairs. I can still vividly picture her coming into the living room each morning with her hair in a mess, a smile on her face. We always started our days together, reading books, cuddling up on the couch, and playing with magnet tiles. I loved taking them places, whether it was scooting at Chandler Elementary, vacation, skiing out on the boat, or to Duxbury Beach, one of our favorite places on earth." Now, on January 1st of 2023, Lindsay was feeling like taking her life, so she checked herself into the psychiatric ward of the local hospital. She stayed there for 5 days, and during that time, the doctor there adjusted her medication. She had already been on medications over the past months, and he felt an adjustment was in order. So he took her off of Seroquel, which is an atypical antipsychotic medication used for schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and major depressive disorder. So she was on that. He took her off of it, and he gave her trazodone, which is an antidepressant, and Ativan, which is a benzodiazepine for anxiety, and she was discharged. Now, at some point over the next few weeks, she did visit her regular psychiatrist in his office, but we don't know exactly what she talked about or what she was given, if any adjustments were made. she took her daughter to the pediatrician. She was in a fine mood, according to everyone she saw. Then, later that day, Cora and Dawson were outside with Lindsay playing in the snow, and she was taking photos of them and texting them to Patrick, who was working in the home office. Like I said, everything seemed nice and normal. In fact, Patrick said of her on that day that she seemed like she was doing her best that he'd seen in recent times. Now, I'm just going to give you a little timeline. At 4:13, she searched online how long it would take for her husband to travel from home to a restaurant in Plymouth, Massachusetts. This restaurant was further away than the ones they normally got food from. Then she called CVS to see if they had children's Miralax in stock. She texted her husband at 4:53 and said she didn't want to cook dinner. Could he get takeout? And could he stop at CVS and pick up something for the kids' medication? She placed the food order at 5:10, and her husband left at 5:15. He was gone for about an hour. It was a little less than an hour. And during that time, he did call her once, but she didn't answer the phone. Instead, she called back shortly after, and the call was 14 seconds long when she confirmed what he should buy at CVS. Now, he arrived back home at his house, and he didn't see anybody. Where were the kids? Where was Lindsay? He went upstairs. The master bedroom was locked, so he forced it open, and to his horror, there was blood on the floor. The window was open. He looked out the window and he saw his wife, Lindsay, laying almost lifeless on the ground. So he called 911 and he ran out to her and asked her, "What happened?" She could barely move and she was suffering from what seemed to be a spinal cord injury, as well as self-inflicted cuts to her neck and wrists. But she told him that she had tried to take her life and that the kids are in the basement. So he stayed with her until the ambulance arrived, at which time he went down to check on the kids in the basement. And brace yourself, he had no idea what he was about to see. He screamed out, "She killed the kids," and this could be heard on the 911 transcript. I guess he was still connected to 911. He found the 3 kids with elastic exercise bands wrapped around their necks, and he removed the bands and he begged them to start breathing. The 2 eldest, Dawson and Cora, were dead on arrival, sadly. The youngest, 8-month-old Callan, was brought to a hospital where he died 3 days later. And Lindsay, of course, was transported to a hospital because she was in dire need of treatment as well. She was near death herself. Now moving up to February 7th, Lindsay lay paralyzed in a hospital bed as she had a virtual arraignment via Zoom. She had been charged with first-degree murder, 3 counts of strangulation, and 3 counts of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. defense claims that she is not guilty by reason of insanity, that she was actually suffering from postpartum psychosis at the time of the crime. She had been prescribed 13 different psychiatric medicines over the course of the 8 months leading up to this crime. Now, we don't know exactly which ones she was taking at the time she committed the crime. She was not taking 13, but she was taking, different combinations on and off, and this is the list of all the drugs she took. They included a powerful sleeping agent, anxiety medications, antidepressants, heavy-duty sedatives, and mood stabilizers, specifically Klonopin, Valium, Ativan, Zoloft, amitriptyline, Remeron, Prozac, Trazodone, Lamictal, Seroquel, Buspirone, hydroxyzine, and Ambien, according to the psychiatrist for the defense. These medications she was taking had, quote, side effects that included, quote, an alteration of mental state. You wouldn't prescribe these to people who already suffer from hallucinations or delusions. If a patient is psychotic and they give them the wrong medicine, then she can be even more confused. A patient who abruptly stopped taking the medications could also experience negative side effects that had the potential to lead to withdrawal and hallucinations. Now, when Lindsay was in the hospital, she had spoken on the phone to Patrick, and she told him that at the time that she had committed the crime, she heard a voice from a man telling her to take her own life and the lives of her children, and that this was her only chance to do it. It seems that she may suffer permanent paralysis from this jump from the window, although we can't be 100% certain right now. Now, the prosecutors asked that Lindsay be held without bail, but the judge instead decided that she would finish her treatment at the hospital and then be transported to a rehabilitation center. The prosecution is stating that Lindsay needs to be held accountable for this crime. It was completely premeditated. She knew what she was doing. She knew right from wrong. She had checked on Google Maps to see how long her husband would be out before she committed the crimes. They do not feel that an insanity defense is acceptable. Since the time that this occurred, a GoFundMe page was set up to pay for her defense, and it has raised $1 million, maybe more by the time that I'm posting this video. And although there are some people who feel that she should be held accountable entirely, it seems like most of the community, friends and family all feel that this happened because of her postpartum psychosis. And 40 letters were presented to the judge in support of Lindsay's innocence. There were only 2 that were against her. Her husband has forgiven her, and this is what he wrote on social media on January 28th. The real Lindsay was generously loving and caring towards everyone, me, our kids, family, friends, and her patients. The very fibers of her soul are loving. All I wish for her now is that she can somehow find peace. He wrote that his youngest, Callan, had died with enormous courage to a bill within the next few weeks that would create a path for defendants who gave birth within a year before their crime and are diagnosed with perinatal psychiatric complications to be found not guilty by reason of mental illness. And that is the case. What do you think? I will share with you some of my thoughts. First of all, my heart goes out to everyone involved here. The 3 little babies, Patrick, the husband, the family, and of course, Lindsay. My heart goes out to Lindsay. Yes, it does. Like I said, this is one of the saddest cases that I've done. The way I see it, she seemed to have postpartum depression. And maybe it wasn't clear that it was anything more than that. Maybe she wasn't experiencing the psychotic symptoms until that day. I mean, we don't really know. Maybe her psychiatrist knows more, but I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard about any huge red flags. Seems like they were doing exactly what they were supposed to do. She had taken off from her job. She was getting treatment. She even checked herself into a psych ward when things were really bad. She was taking all these meds that were being given to her. She was trying to get well. Her husband was working from home. That is exactly what a supportive husband would do in a situation where his wife is struggling with postpartum depression. He was home for the most part. Nobody said he had to watch her 24/7. He had no expectation that anything like this could happen, and he was gone for less than an hour to pick up food and go to CVS. Now imagine this poor guy goes out to get the dinner, comes home, and this is what he finds. And first it's his wife, she's almost dead, and he is just horrified and distraught, and he runs down to be with her. And once she's taken care of, he thinks he's gonna go, check on the kids, and he finds them. 2 of them dead and 1 of them fatally wounded. That moment when he said she killed the kids, can you imagine what he was? I can't imagine it. I don't want to imagine it. Within the blink of an eye, this man lost it all. He lost everything. He truly did. He lost his 3 little kids. His wife is now charged with 3 murders, and she is potentially paralyzed. Who knows if she'll ever get to come home? Who knows what's gonna happen there? Just absolutely horrific. And Lindsay, for one, I believe that she should get off with the insanity defense. There are people who don't feel that way, and if you're one of them, that's fine. I am accepting of everyone's opinion, absolutely. But just the way I feel, there was no reason for her to do this. She had nothing to gain from it. There's just no motivation for her to have committed this act and to wind up paralyzed in the process. I mean, there are people who are saying, oh, they planned this out to get that money in the GoFundMe. Really? And what? She just became paralyzed by accident? That wasn't part of the plan? I don't think so. No, absolutely not. But imagine as she comes out of it, which she probably already has, I'm sure she has by now. Her mind is probably Mentally, she will never be okay after this. I can't even say, I have no more words to express it. Now, as far as the medications, I've probably talked about this before, but I worked for a long time in the mental health field, and I have a pretty good understanding of how that works. And it is very common to be prescribed a whole bunch of different meds, like she was. And the reason is because there's no definitive answer. Like, if you have depression, they don't know what medication will work for you. There are so many choices, and some work for one person and some work for another person, and some people will find something good the first time and other people will take 10 different pills before they find the right one. Or some people never find it, you know. So this is what they do. They give you a medication. You have to take it for generally like at least 2 weeks to see if it's even going to work. And during that 2 weeks you can have side effects. Very uncomfortable, unpleasant side effects that are hard to deal with. And with those side effects, you don't even know that there's light at the end of the rainbow. You know, you're not taking this pill and saying, yeah, I have side effects, but in 2 weeks I'm gonna feel great. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. If it doesn't help, then either they'll give you more of the same one to see if you just needed more, or they'll take you off and give you something else, or they'll give you something in addition to that. There's 1,000,001 combinations here. It's not an exact science. I feel very strongly when I talk about psychiatry. It has a long way to go. You know, like if you have a certain infection, the doctors usually know this type of infection responds well to this type of antibiotic, and they give it, you know. But it's not like that with psychiatry, so I can't even blame the doctors, the hospital, you know. They are trying out the medications in the normal way. And yes, these things are very powerful, and they can really mess with you. That I agree with. Absolutely, 100%. It could have been the medications that just scrambled her mind. Or it could have just happened naturally on its own. We don't know. But these are just my thoughts about it. And they would not know if she had thoughts of hurting anyone else unless she had told somebody, you know. Just because someone's a psychiatrist or a therapist doesn't mean they're a mind reader, you know. If you don't tell them what you're thinking or what you're feeling, they don't know. Unless they can see it in your behavior, you know. So, I think you get my point. But anyway, I am going to leave it here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found it to be thought-provoking. I look forward to seeing you in